Hey guys, Jack here. Stick around after today's episode to hear how new clients can save 50% on AgYield's full suite of consulting and technology for 2025. This exclusive offer is available now until April 1st. Don't miss out. Terms and conditions apply. Check out the video description to learn more.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, January 31st, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area, and we'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here at March corn down 10 1/4 at 480. March soybeans were down 9 1/4 at 1034 3/4. And March Chicago wheat was down 12 1/4 at 554 1/4. No export sales announced here this morning, so we'll jump right in. Good morning, guys. I think kind of our early morning discussions really heavily revolved around the potential of tariffs and the ramping up of the rhetoric here as we come into tomorrow's deadline that Trump had laid down. So, Justin, I thought you made a good point. It's vulnerability. That's what you're seeing here in the market, and so maybe give us a few thoughts to kick us off here this morning, and then we'll throw it around the room.
Yeah, Dan, we talked about yesterday about, we've got some good trade going here. We've got, I think a good balance of bulls and bears and bullish and bearish cases here. Big open interest continues to climb every day, dramatically, right? So we've got a lot of players in the market now, a lot of people with different opinions, a lot of change in ownership. Obviously the tariff news isn't new. I think maybe some people were hoping it won't happen, or now that we're getting closer to that deadline, obviously over the weekend, taking some money off the table, putting some money aside, see how this plays out. But it's we're gonna have a lot of this kind of volatility. So we'll see how things play out. At the end of the day, we have a ton of corn on the books. We talked about 300 million bushels still undelivered. If you look at the bean complex, certainly trading the Canadian tariffs there, because we bring in so much canola oil. So you've got canola down sharply, soybean oil up, meal down sharply, beans down. We've been using a lot of Canadian oil for biodiesel, things of that nature. So markets trading, I think, rightfully. If that were to happen, we continue to crush. We're already crushing for oil with a bunch of imports, with a bunch of used cooking oil, with a bunch of Canadian oil imports, and meal's already having an issue. So if you were to start, not bringing those other substitutes in, meal has a problem. So I talked about this yesterday. I still think even without these, meal and beans are kind of the weak link in the fundamental picture, especially for this time of year with South America coming on board fully. I think corn finds supports on breaks. It could have a bigger break than we think with these tariff scares, or just with the big open interest that we have right now. You can't rule out, breaking back down to these big moving averages, certainly. So that's kind of my take on, I look at it as, which ones are the strongest and which ones are the weakest. And I think I made that clear what my opinion is, but.
Sure. And, you look at it, we talk about it extensively, but, your next 40 to 45 days, this is probably just going to be what the game is, right? I mean, you've hit on it a couple of times in volatility, but getting back to that margin-based approach and not freaking out for every 9 to 10 or 12 cent move is going to probably be the way to survive, because you'll drive yourself nuts if you're really marrying yourself to each move. When you agree?
Yeah, you'll have a lot of plaque buildup here if you don't think that way and try to overguess it, because you've got, you're still important safrinha crop. We talked about this a lot. You're going into our growing season. You're going into our planning intentions, into our crop insurance season. You've got all these new cabinet members coming in, dramatic changes in policy and dramatic changes in ideologies. And it's going to be a wild ride. And if you try to outguess it, it's going to, I think, be very, very stressful.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ben, what's on your mind this morning?
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that in our industry, 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2, and they bought everything till 2 days before the tariffs were supposed to come in place, and we sell off crazy. Like that doesn't happen in our business very often, where it's screaming, I guess, the obvious at you. But I look at it, I think that Trump is using some economic incentives or threats to get some cooperation on border control, on fentanyl. Ultimately, we have to work with Mexico. They have to work with us. Same with Canada. I mean, the Mexican economy is extremely dependent on the U.S., right? We're talking about what, $500 billion of goods a year that we purchase from there. So I'm pleased with Mexico and Canada. When he gets the cooperation that he wants, we'll probably back away from this harsh rhetoric. So we'll see. It's we certainly have a market, and movement is good. I think Dan brings up a great point. If you're going to try to outguess what's going to go on the next headline or the resolution of the last headline, good luck. But yeah, pretty interesting times here. So
yeah, it's just, it blows my mind that we come into next week and we're going to be setting spring crop insurance.
yeah, well,
I mean, like, it's crazy how fast it's coming.
And as far as corn goes, we are going to be, we're the primary market for anyone who needs to buy it in bulk in the next month or two. So we're the cheapest corn in the world. I don't know how far we have to go to find aggressive buyers, but I think they're out there. A back and fill down to where we came out of the report would not be out of the question. So it's, I think we're in interesting times.
Very good, guys. Any other parting shots as we wrap the week here?
I would just look at weather. Finally getting some rains to the Corn Belt here through the Midwest, much needed here. On the South American front, South America, Brazil still getting heavy rain, so it's delaying, soybean harvest and obviously delaying second crop safrinha planting. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. And then Argentina still looks pretty dry. So, kind of following what Justin was saying yesterday, I don't know, Justin, what you're thinking, but I'm hearing more and more quality concerns out of Brazil with all this rain, with China, canceling, soybean shipments. I don't know if it has legs to it. I just, if that continues, you think that has some kind of outgoing concerns?
Yeah, that's that's kind of brought this up a little bit yesterday, but, one of the concerning things on beans is that, canceling in, South America, but not purchasing here. Right. So if they don't need the beans in general is concerning.
That's a bigger problem. Yeah.
That's probably the bigger problem in my opinion. So you will have, they'll find a way to use it, move it. The $1 million question is it just an excuse? I'm sure there are quality concerns for sure. I mean, I think there always is somewhat. Yeah. South America, some gravel and shit that's kind of factored into their price. But, question is, why aren't they buying ours? So, yeah, I get kind of with my overall theme of just not so friendly beans. I mean, we do have a lot of global beans, and maybe shave off some here and there, you get some quality concerns. But I think beans have an issue. So if you look at everything kind of rallied that, except for wheat will be an interesting one today, down 12 here, and that's the one the big short. I don't really see a big play with Mexico or Canada regarding wheat, except for maybe friendly, meaning that we bring in wheat in the U.S. from Canada. So it'd be interesting to see how that short leg of the trade, right? It feels like they're kind of long everything in short wheat. See how that kind of plays out today might be kind of telling. If it's general liquidation of the positions that people have on, I would think wheat would rally at some point today if everything stays really weak.
Very good. Got a couple minutes here. Rylan, you want to talk about volatility? I mean, cattle futures now lower on the week, which is, I mean, obviously you get to these levels, we can expect some of this, but wow, it's been a crazy ride. And then it feels like hogs, much like some of the grain complex, just kind of waiting and seeing what happens tomorrow with these talks of tariffs and things like that. So why don't you put a wrap for the week on livestock?
Yeah, and the cash market is just not not cooled down at all. So it just felt like the correction is mostly in futures. I mean, you've seen some things this week, like lower beef prices, sharply lower yesterday, with choice down 306, select down 477. So I think that matters in the long run. But overall, we're seeing cash trade at 208 in the south and 210 and 211 in the north. So this is a big up in cash prices. So it just seems like the board got a little bit exhausted on the tired side, but overall the tariffs, I think in everybody's opinion, are relatively friendly as far as the cattle market goes. Anything to really inhibit imports of feeder cattle from Mexico and Canada, just kind of exacerbating this tighter supply situation. It's not a small amount ahead. I mean, overall, this could be a real problem down the road as far as herd rebuilding goes. But we are going to get that report here today, so there may be some caution ahead of that report as well. But there really hasn't been a slowdown in cash, so see, maybe we can get a little bit of surprise support here towards going into the weekend and maybe early next week. But a lot of that's going to depend on what the report actually says. So all cattle and calves are expected at 99.1%. And everybody's eyes are going to be on the replacement numbers for heifers, just to see if there's any signs of herd rebuilding, and as well as the calf crop. So we'll see what the numbers say, and we'll give you our thoughts here on Monday. But yeah, on the hog side of things, the tariff news, if we're trading that in corn, you'd imagine that we are going to trade that as in the hog section as well. I think pork was specifically mentioned in some of the headlines. So I mean, we'll see if there's anything retaliatory coming down the road, but it's not like the market didn't see this coming, and the managed money is severely long this market. So we'll see if we get some heavy liquidation here, or just some panic selling, or maybe some just outright short speculative kind of trade just for the interim. So just waiting for more details there. Otherwise, starting to see cash market was down $2 yesterday, or $2.87, and cutout was down. So wouldn't be a surprise to see things kind of turn around a little bit here today.
Very good. Appreciate the update. We look forward to taking a look at that inventory report, 2:00 Central, and then we'll have our thoughts there on Monday as we have our war room discussion. We made it, fellas. We got to the end, and it's everybody's favorite segment. So we'll throw her on over to Brian for a little Fun Fact Friday.
Thanks, Dan. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it not only to Friday, but through this harshest month of the year, January. But according to AI, that would have been yesterday. So to give you a little insight how I've come up with my Friday fun facts, do a little search engine, any fun facts for the date in question. And I did that for today. And AI told me there are no fun facts for today because January only has 31 days. Like, what? So, you got to go back to grammar school, do the knuckle test. Every month it has 31 days. It's a knuckle. So January 31. I stopped right there. So I knew there are 31 days of this year. But if AI was right, these important dates didn't happen today. The first U.S. satellite, Explorer 1, was never launched into orbit. Jackie Robinson was not born on this date in 1919. Rylan, you like this one. Ham the chimp was launched into space in 1961. Yeah, Apollo 14 was launched today and landed on the moon. And this is another one for you guys, the International Magic Day today. This marks the actual anniversary of Harry Houdini's death. Also, Truman in 1950 authorized the development of the hydrogen bomb. So those are, and there's more to go, but I'll just keep it at that. But then my crazy mind went to thinking, what if there was only 364 days a year? What would that turn out to be? Well, it would actually be 13 months, all consisting of 4 weeks. So if that ever does come to fruition, I don't know about you guys, but I vote for the 13th month to be called Danuary. For our fearless leader over here, right?
High praise.
So I think AI is definitely still in the experimental stages. So don't believe everything you get out of that. So happy Friday, everybody.
Hey, Fun Fact Friday's still an experimental.
I like January.
That's gonna get some legs, I'm sure. No, very good, Brad. That was fun. Thanks for that. A couple things to point out. Jack will be along in the outro here today. If you tune in every day, I'm sure you've probably heard it, but we are offering some special pricing here through April 1st for folks that want to get second opinions. Take a look at certainly crop insurance. That's gonna be a huge decision as we come into February. we've kind of been hammering on that point for quite a while here. So I think it's a real important year to do a deep dive and be sure that you're utilizing all those products in the best manner here this year. So give us a call. We'd love to visit with you. We'll do a quick rundown here as we just came into the open. March corn's down 9.5. 480.5 is the last. March soybeans down 9 at 1035. And we've got March Chicago wheat down 11.5 at 555. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and subscribe. We appreciate everybody that supports the show and tunes in on a daily basis. It doesn't cost you anything to do so. Subscribe and it'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with AgYield. We're doing the show every day that the markets are open, 8:15 Central Time. Streaming live on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
At AgYield, we know that farmers are constantly confronted by new challenges, and 2025 is no exception. Markets are volatile, margins are shrinking, and lender confidence is in free fall. Farmers need industry support now more than ever, which is why we are offering something truly unprecedented. From now until April 1st, new AgYield clients can access our full suite of consulting services and cutting-edge technology at 50% off. This is more than a promotion. It's our way of extending a hand of support to farmers when they need it most. From precision grain marketing to innovative risk management strategies, we're committed to protecting your farm's profitability and building a stronger, more sustainable future. And together, we can weather the storm ahead. Visit us today at agyield.com or call 855-266-6241 to get started. Terms and conditions apply. Check out the video description to learn more.